Hello and good morning. Welcome to today's showcase for the amazing speakers of the Women Thrive Summit. Today, we are unleashing the power of women voices, and this event happens every month on the third Thursday of the month. My name is Ramonda Jan, and I will be one of your hosts for today. And my co host is Abigail. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ramonda. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. The last showcase of the year, and we've got some amazing speakers lined up today.
I know it's gone so quickly. I'm sure everyone that's watching this can completely relate. It just goes so quickly, and it's so exciting because we've got a few more weeks to go for the end of the year, and then we are moving into 2025, where we've got the summit in a few months' time. And it's so amazing to come on here and showcase some of the wonderful speakers that are going to be speaking on our summit next year.
Yes, we are. And yesterday we were actually on our call. So what you may not know that behind the scenes, we have weekly calls with our speakers. We're doing a lot of prep and production for our events. And there were some tears and there was some excitement and shares and just how far we have all come and just how precious this platform has been for everyone involved, the beautiful relationships that have been built, the collaborations, the advancement of, when you are in this kind of space and you surround yourself with amazing women, inevitably you grow. And I know, Abigail, that you see this a lot where, we last year, actually, this time last year, we wrote an article on collaboration over competition, and you quite strong on this as well.
Yeah, we did. I remember the article well, and uh, my point of view around this, and I think it's shared by many of us, is that we are deeply conditioned as women to be in competition with one another, to be suspicious of one another, to be jealous of one another, and it really is such deep conditioning. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of generational trauma, but it's generational trauma, and it does not serve us. And there has been such a shift over the last few years, and continues to be such a shift, where empowered, conscious, educated and intelligent women are realizing that all of those things that we've been deep conditioned potentially to be with one another are just driving us apart, and we're stronger together. So actually what's so amazing is when we come together in community like this, like in Women Thrive, we can support one another, we can be cheerleaders, we can promote one another, we can be absolutely confident in our own abilities and our unique gifts. And then when we can be really confident in ourselves and love ourselves and honor ourselves in that way, we don't need to be in competition with anyone else, because we might do very similar things, but we know that we're very different and we can complement each other. And that's what that article was about, wasn't it? It was about, joining forces and coming together and creating things that are far bigger than us.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I fell asleep last night, I read a comment on our Instagram, and the post was about, it's amazing when you have your girlfriend who's there to support you when you're going through your healing journey. And one of the girls in the comments said, let's make it normal to say that not everybody have that bestie who will hold them through the healing journey. And I responded to her, you're quite right. And when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't feel like I had a bestie or I had a girlfriend who was aligned in the same way that, I felt about life or business or personal development or growth. So at times it did feel lonely. And that's why I made a comment. I said, I felt the same way. But this is why I decided to build this community. So when you come in, you feel like you're part of something. You feel like you're surrounding yourself with women who are doing similar things, who are on a similar journey. So you don't have to feel alone. You might not be a bestie from get-go, but you're coming into a safe space where you will be held, supported, and understood, and also seen, which is a big part of women a lot of times not being seen, and therefore we struggle in silence and in being alone.
Yeah. For me, it's one of the most important things on my entrepreneurial journey, and I know all of our speakers agree with this, that to seek out like-minded communities, communities that have your back. And again, that's what I love about Women Thrive. Because yes, okay, how amazing to be able to speak on a summit and come together in that way, but actually the support from the community is invaluable, and our weekly speaker call is a testament to that. The topics we cover, the support we give one another, the inspiration. I always leave every call feeling like I can just achieve anything, and you can achieve anything you want with the right communities.
Yeah, I know. And I say that when our speakers come in to speak, they think they're just coming in to speak on a summit, but really they don't realize that everything else that we do is a huge part of why this platform is the way it is, and why this is such a strong knit community, why there is such a support network, is because we could just run a summit like many others. But here we are creating relationships, building just these beautiful collaborations. We're working together, we're seeing each other, we're leading up to these amazing events. So we invite our audience on the journey. So this event that we have today is your opportunity to get to know our speakers, get to know their messages, their stories, because when the event, which is our annual flagship event, which is our Women Thrive Summit, it happens third week of every year, every March. That's when you already have those relationships built. You already got to know some of the speakers and you've been part of their journey. So when you're there, you feel like it's a community, you feel like it's a safe space, you feel like it's a real support network. And that what makes it really different. So today I want, just before we begin inviting our speakers, I want to talk about the power of authenticity, just really briefly, because what you may see today as our speakers come on to speak on stages, it may seem like it feels so effortless. You're seeing and it just looks perfect and amazing. And maybe one day you might want to be speaking as well, or being seen on stages, sharing your message, sharing your story. I hope you get inspired to do that. But I want to say that it's not an easy thing to do, to share your story. And in order for someone's story to really connect to the deeper part of our audience, you have to have a level of vulnerability and authenticity. And the other part is also truly authentically accepting yourself for who you are. And we had a lot of these conversations this week. So, what I hope that you get out of this event today is real, authentic connections, real inspiration. When you see these women, I hope that you see part of yourself within their stories. And if you feel connected, if you feel inspired, I want to call on you to connect with these amazing women, reach out to them. Because a lot of times we do speaking and then somebody's life gets impacted, but we may not know it until you reach out. So if somebody really touched your heart, if somebody really meaningfully connected with you and your heart, reach out to them. And I want to say that like I said, it's not an easy thing to do, to come on platforms like this when you don't see the audience and share it from your heart, share it from your truth. So we hope that today's event is going to be inspirational, empowering for you, and hopefully inspire you to share your story with someone, because sharing the story not told is life not changed, as one of our speakers, Michelle, said this. So I want you to share your story. I want you to impact other people and step into it, right? Somebody out there needs your wisdom. Somebody needs your story. Somebody needs what you have to offer. So that's it, as a bit of an introduction message for you. Maybe Abigail has something else to add to it, and then I'll invite Abigail to introduce our first speaker.
Ramonda, you've said everything that I would say, of course. There's something really special when we can speak on a stage like this, or any other stage, and share vulnerably and from the heart. And that's one of the things that we really encourage our speakers to do. And I think that they do that anyway automatically. They don't, you know, it's like they might need a little bit of encouragement from us, but it's already in there, right? So our speakers are already aligned to that. And yeah, just again, as Ramonda said, just want to encourage you to comment in the chat and really support these women, and, you know, look at how you want to make an impact in the world. And, you know, we're going to be running another summit in 2026. So who knows, you could be speaking on the stage. But whatever reason you have come to support today, you are more than welcome. And we're really looking forward to spending the next couple of hours with you. So, are we ready to move on? I'd love to know in the chat. Let's get some ones in the chat. Ones. If you are ready to listen and see our first speaker, let's give them some encouragement. I want to introduce our first speaker of today on this wonderful event. Her name is Pia Alt. She is a wonderful speaker, a wonderful woman, and oh my goodness, the work that she does with horses is just mind-blowing. It really is. So we're very, very excited to share her with you. So Pia guides women to find their inner warrior and drop their masks to reveal their authentic self. So very aligned to what Ramonda was sharing just now. She's an empowerment coach focusing on and integrating horse wisdom and emotions work when warranted. Pia, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Abby, for this wonderful introduction. I'm coming to you live today from the beautiful south coast of Spain, although it's not so sunny today, but I'm really grateful to be in a warm, nice spot this Christmas. So my talk today was actually going to be about something completely different. And sometimes the universe throws you a curveball and we have to adapt. So today, instead, I'd like to share a personal story of what happened to me 2 weeks ago when I was visiting my mom in Copenhagen, Denmark. She is 83 years old. She has rapidly progressive dementia, so I have to check in on her quite often, and she doesn't really remember to eat or drink, so her body and her strength and her mind are really deteriorating fast. While I was there, she had a dizzy spell and she ended up falling, and she had to go to the hospital and needed stitches for a head wound, which all of that happening brought a hard truth to my life and to my life of my brother. We're really the two closest, that take care of her. And we realized these falls are going to continue to happen as her condition worsens, and that she's no longer able to care for herself or stay safe in her apartment. So my next realization was, what do we do now? How do we start that difficult and painful process of getting her into a protective care facility? So it brought a lot of uncertainty and it brought a lot of anxiety. And the reason I share this is because I've recognized just in the last few weeks, how many other adult children are facing the same challenges and the stress that comes with having to make decisions around caring for an aging or sick parent. And as that stress builds, it's bringing with us a lot of emotions. So stress is really the label for the emotions that arise, such as fear, anxiety, grief, sadness, anger, shame, guilt, confusion. I'm talking about all the emotions I felt 2 weeks ago. But unfortunately, many of us are incapable of welcoming these emotions. We may not even be able to name them, and we don't know how to feel because we've conditionally and generationally had emotions shoved under a rug, or we've been told that the emotions are the problem. So we don't know what they mean. We don't know how to deal with them. And the emotions really are never the problem. It's the situation that's the problem. Our emotions actually bring messages and information to guide us into action. So I want to share some insights now on how you can welcome and listen to and learn to regulate your emotions when they come knocking in stressful situations. And because of the time constraints today, I want to keep it just to anxiety and grief, as those are some of the two foremost emotions I experienced. But I just want to emphasize that there are no right or wrong or positive or negative emotions. All emotions are necessary, and they're all possible in cases of dealing with parents with dementia. So I felt anxiety or worry, and anxiety comes forward when we have a perceived threat, something that may or may not happen in the future. And it brings the gift of foresight to help us focus and prepare to take an action, which in my case was to contact the healthcare authorities in the town where my mom lives, but it might be different for anybody else. And so to help us prepare, we can ask two internal questions. One, what brought this feeling forward? And two, what truly needs to be done now? So this helps us with that foresight to act. It's like a to-do list to bring the uncertainty to a minimum so that our stress is relieved. And the other emotion that I felt deeply was grief. Now, I know that most of us experience grief when somebody has died or something has ended, but caring for a parent with dementia brings a level of unexpected grief because while they're not dead yet, our loved one is losing their cognitive ability to function. It's a loss that we cannot stop or control. They're dying in little increments, sometimes over a long period. And so we face grief over and over. And the internal questions that helped me was, what do I need to mourn? And how do I honor what is being lost? So grief can bring heartbreak and it can feel really heavy and numbing. But if we welcome this rather beautiful and powerful emotion, it can move us through the process while honoring our parent for who they used to be. And I also realized in this situation that despite being the strong and take charge woman that I usually am, I needed community and connection. So ask for help. There's strength in numbers. And this is one of the things I've learned from my work with horses. They are social animals, they live in herds, and they rely on each other for support. And it's a way to regulate stress. So asking for help from family and friends in a time of crisis and grief can help us process and heal, and finally let go. Grieving is a natural process, and it's one that can be navigated with mindfulness and courage and a deep understanding of our emotional landscape. And I've learned all that from horses over the last 10 years. So I thank you for watching today, and I wish you all a happy holiday season.
Pia, thank you so much for sharing. Without meaning to sound too condescending, like that's so brave of you to share in that way. Like, and it's such an important subject because, you know, here at Women Thrive, as you know, it's a predominantly female community. We attract female speakers and audience, and you know, it's like it's one of those things that inevitably we have to go through. And how do you manage, you know, how do you're still there rocking your business, doing your works. You know, we were on a call yesterday, you were there like looking gorgeous, all suited and booted, right, ready to be with your clients, but then you've got this incredibly emotional thing that's happening in your life. And I you know, I really honor you sharing that today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I think for me, and I think for many of us, we show up and we dance in the moment. You know, we are not isolated or compartmentalized in life, right? So yes, life goes on and we go on with our things and we go to work and we have social interactions. But I mean, the human part of us makes it possible to be different dimensions and not compartmentalize or put a mask on when we go into something. You know, of course, I don't sit and cry with my clients, but it's in the back of my mind that I'm facing grief. But we're able to, I think, be human that way. It makes us authentically human that way, I think.
Yeah. I remember when we record our podcast episode, which I think it's out now and available for anyone to go and watch. Please,
Yeah, I've shared it. Yeah,
wonderful. Go and listen to the podcast, because one of the things that really struck me with what you were talking about is, the equine therapy that you deliver so beautifully to the world. And whenever I think about like horse therapy, I think about like the emotional like connection, and horses are like a mirror, and like you can't hide from a horse, right? It's going to know. But one of the things that really stood out for me on your podcast was that you were talking about the community, the horses. They are herd animals, they rely on one another, and because they're flight animals, they're really attuned to their environment and to one another, so that they know, when danger is, or when to celebrate, or all of those emotions. And it's just so aligned to what we were talking about, and what you were talking there about community, and also this wonderful community that you have to support you through this period of your life. Can you just talk into that again, very briefly, and in terms of the significance of that support that you are receiving externally?
It is difficult as it is for my mom to ask for help, even in her state. She's stubborn, and I obviously have inherited that, because I find it hard to ask for help, or I don't think about it, because I'm so used to doing everything, my own way and being strong. But I found in this particular case, I needed to reach out to others. I was sitting there with my mom in the hospital. She had no clue what happened to her, and she was looping through, why am I here? Can we go home now? And I realized I need to reach out to my family, and I need to reach out to my friends. And guess what? The minute I said I need help, they all just lined up, right? It was a community that came together beautifully and naturally and organic, and took a load off. I could breathe. I could actually plan better what to do, because I didn't have to constantly think about the anxiety and worry and everything else that comes along with that in who I needed to contact. So it flowed, and I should never ever second guess or doubt that community. It's there. You just have to ask.
Yeah. And we often think about community, don't we, in terms of business growth, like the connections, the recommendations, the support in terms of business, but also it's that emotional support is so important for us as women to congregate, to be together around the fire, right? To be together.
Yes.
And to be able to support each other. So thank you so much again for sharing, so vulnerably what is going on in your life at the moment, but really bringing out some incredible words of wisdom from that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I really just hope it can help others, because, on the talk yesterday, there was other people in the group that were facing the same thing with their parents. So yeah, I hope I can help others that way. Thanks for having me on.
You're more than welcome. It's so wonderful to have you in our community. Thank you, Pia. Thank you. So that was Pia, sharing something so vulnerably about what she's going through at the moment, and, the lessons that can be learned from that. And, I always say that there's always, whatever we go through in our lives, however tragic it might seem, or scary or emotional, actually, there's always something that can be drawn from that. And, I really resonate with Pia's, story. My own parents passed away a few years back, and it just, I don't know, for me it just felt like a bit of an untethering. It was almost like I stepped into a new version of myself, as corny as it sounds, from that. And the gifts come as well as the grief. So I just wanted to say to anyone that's watching, if you've been if you're going through that at the moment, please, please, please reach out. As Piers said, it's really, really important to get help, to have a community to support you, to be able to talk through grief. And it is something that you can get lots and lots of support from. So we are moving on to our next speaker. I'm very excited to introduce this powerhouse of a woman to you. Her name is Michelle Watson, and Michelle is based in the UK, just as I am. She is a multi-award-winning international speaker. She's just won another award, I noticed the other week. She's a business and performance mentor with a mission to empower women worldwide. You see the theme with our speakers? Very empowering women. She specializes in guiding women from conception to realization of their business ideas through her pioneering business incubation process, as well as guiding entrepreneurs to write and publish their books, to share their message and be seen as an authority in their field. Welcome, Michelle. It's great to see you here.
Hey, Abigail, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. And Michelle, can I just say, we are running a little bit early.
Okay.
At the moment, as you know, and Michelle is a shining example, as is Pia as well, because Pia went early, to always be prepared. Michelle was like, on here, I saw her on the in the back room, like fixing her hair, getting the green screen ready, getting all prepared, and she's straight into it. So a great example of always being prepared as a speaker, right? You never know when you're going to get called on the stage.
Definitely. It's about being ready until you're called to be ready. It makes sense. It makes sense. I always say that I prefer, like, even when I'm packing, like sometimes my husband is like, why are you bringing all of these stuff? And I'm saying to him, listen, I would prefer to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So which one?
I am absolutely with you on that. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here today. And please take the stage.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Abigail. And, as I was thinking about what it is that I wanted to share with you today, just like Pia, I wanted to come to you from a vulnerable place, because I think that is missing a lot in the marketplace, vulnerability, and people see you and they tend to think like, yep, she's got it all sorted. And so they see you feeling as if you're all the way here. And where you are at is not reachable for them. And so I wanted to start by asking you a question. And the question that I wanted to ask you this morning is, how confident would you feel sitting on what was meant to be a four-legged chair, but it only had three? I'm going to ask that again. How confident and how comfortable would you feel sitting on a chair? It's meant to be a four-legged chair, but it only has three. I'm going to come back to that question in a minute. You see, when I started out in business, I had many different reasons as to why I wanted to start my business. And for many of you on here, you will relate. Yeah, definitely, you will relate. Whether it was time freedom, whether it was, I didn't want to be dictated to anymore by my boss. I wanted to be able to attend my children's parents' meeting. I wanted to be able to go out with my friends or travel when I wanted to. Possibly you're saying, it's going to work out better for my health. Potentially it's that you've had the business idea, you've been juggling the business, doing it as a side hustle alongside your job. I did that for a long while. I was a train driver and I was creating my business alongside my job. Maybe there's so many things you want, wealth and riches, so many different reasons, right? And when you think about it, I want you to stop right now and ask yourself, what were the main reasons? What were the why? And I know, yes, we want to help people. We want to empower, we want to make a difference. But let's switch it a bit and bring it back to ourselves. So yes, we know what we want for our clients. We know what we want for the people that we're mentoring or coaching and making a difference to. But what was the main reason behind it for you, the individual, the vision carrier? Because sometimes we pay a lot of attention to the vision, but not the vision carrier. And the vision, yes, legacy-wise, it can last without the visionary, but in order for the vision to be carried, the visionary is the one carrying the vision. And so my question to you is, what is it that you started out with? And the reason why I asked that question is because maybe like me at some point, you got so caught up with creating the vision, that you forgot the visionaire. You forgot the whole reason behind why it is that you decided to do what you want to do. You know, it's a bit like those moments when you have a client and they come up to you and say, I want to be rich. Well, riches looks different to everyone. I want to be successful in my business, but what does success look like, right? Is the success based on just the financial gain? Is the success based on you being able to travel and do what you want to do when you want to do it? So is it time freedom? Is it health? Is it creating a better life for your family, your children? Or is it making a difference in the life of those around you? So success looks different to everyone. And so to bring it back to the question that I asked you before, how comfortable will you be, or how confident will you be sitting on what is a four-legged chair, but it only has three legs? I'm just reminding you of that question. I want you to hold it because I'm going somewhere with this. When I started out on my journey, for me, I wanted time freedom. I wanted to be able to do things, travel when I wanted to do all the great stuff that I had in my life that, yeah, I want to be able to do my mission, my passion. I want to serve. So I had all of these things. However, as I went along the journey of entrepreneurship, I lost sight of all the things that I wanted to do it for me. And the why was only about building the business and serving people. Building the business and serving people. And many times we get lost in that trap where we're building the business and we're serving people, but we forget what it is that we wanted. And so slowly you realize, I don't have any time. I don't have any time to sit down and to relax, or any time to spend with my children. The constant missing of parents' meeting. You slowly start to realize that it's affecting my health. You slowly then start to realize it might even end up affecting your relationship, your marriage, your friendships. And it starts to eat away. And so the thing that you decided to create, that you said was going to be an addition or was going to help build the lifestyle that you desired for yourself, ends up actually eating away at that lifestyle. So think about it. The thing that you said that you need to create in order to have the lifestyle that you desire and deserve slowly begins to become the thing that ends up eating away at it and starts to strip away and starts to remove the legs from underneath the chair. You had the vision of 4 legs, solid, balanced, a seat that you could sit on. Not only you, but a seat for your legacy to sit on. Not only that, but a seat for your clients, for people in the future, even after you've left this earth, to build on and sit on and feel confident about building and sitting on it. But unfortunately, what's happened along the line is the legs begin to get removed. And so one of the things that I will be speaking about at the Women Thrive Summit is all about entrepreneurial excellence. It's all about the iconic woman quadrant. The 4 areas in my life that I realized that I really need to stop and pay attention to in order to really say that I am building and living a successful entrepreneurial lifestyle, living an entrepreneurial excellence lifestyle. Because I believe that at some point I nearly made it affect my marriage. I definitely made it affect my health. There was a moment that the very people that I said that I'm building and doing this for almost seemed as if, I would say that they weren't relevant. They were relevant, but I had this excuse or this reason that I was telling myself that I'm building it for them so they will understand. Think about it. The very thing that you want to build in order to make a difference in the life of your family, to make a difference in the life of people around you, slowly starts to strip away and pluck away and peel away the whole essence of why you were building it in the first place. And so one of my encouragement to you is, as you're building, don't just build wide, dig deep. And why do I say that? Because when we think about the foundation of a house, it's not just about the size of the house that is relevant or important. It's also about how strong is the foundation. How strong is the foundation that it's going to stand upon? How strong is the foundation of your business? Because if it's ripping away at your health, then can you call it success? If it's ripping away and tearing apart your family, can we call it success? So how strong is the foundation that you're building upon? And so let's go back to that question that I asked at the very beginning. How confident would you be able to sit on a four-legged chair that only had three? You would start to shift it about, see if it's balanced, see if it can actually hold you. And I think sometimes, actually, every year, yearly, we should be doing that. Reassessing what it is that we're building. Reassessing what it is that we're building upon. Is it stable? Is there a balance? When I'm setting my goals, am I just setting my business goals, or am I setting personal ones to also grow personally and have that personal development? Am I making sure I take time out to go on that date night with my partner? Am I taking time out to have that conversation, that valuable conversation that my friend is longing for, or my children are longing to have with me? So as we're building and as the year comes to an end, let's not just focus on building the business, because there's more to the roots. The root is not just built with the business in mind. One root won't hold the tree up. And so when you think about plants, when you think about trees, the roots of the trees branch out into different areas in order to give the tree stability for it to stand. So what are the different branches? What are the different areas that we need to pay attention to as we come to the end of 2024 to make sure that 2025 is a more balanced year for us? And it can't just be about the business, it has to be about everything else. And so that's my encouragement for you. And I do hope that it encourages you to go away and think about that. It was a mistake that I made in my business journey. And as I always say, mistakes are not really mistakes. They're a mess. As I was sharing with Danny earlier, it's going through a mess age. And for you to take the moment to recognize the mess in that mess age moment. That mess age moment, there's always something to learn. So pay attention to the mess age moment. What were the mess age moments in your 2024? So assess those so that you can make it a message moment in 2025. You can get in touch with me or stay connected with me on I am Michelle Watson on LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on Facebook. You can also grab my latest book, which was also a bestseller, The Iconic Woman, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, W.H. Smith, and also Waterstones. So thank you.
Amazing. Congratulations, Michelle. I was just peacefully sitting here listening and really reflecting back on the year and how would I feel sitting on a chair like that? And there has been moments, and I'm sure many of our listeners today might be in that moment sitting on that three-leg chair, feeling a little bit wobbly, feeling like I'm succeeding, I'm really strong in some areas of my life, my business, my career, but I might not be succeeding at health, relationships, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And that is not success. And it truly has to be a whole all-round work-life balance and succeeding in all areas of your life. So thank you for this beautiful reminder as we come into the end of the year.
Thank you for having me, Ramonda.
What exciting things is Michelle doing in 2025?
Ooh, there is a lot. I'm launching a new hub for the Iconic Women, and I'm super excited about it, doing so many things that I'm crafting in the background, and it's going to just be super awesome for what women will be able to experience when it comes to speaking, writing your book, getting your message out there, being vulnerable, because I think a lot of people don't get that opportunity. And I really love that about the Thrive community, the Women Thrive community. We are so open to being vulnerable. We have moments seeing you being vulnerable, Abigail being vulnerable. And that really is something that is missing in the marketplace, especially for women, because we feel like we have to show up strong at all times. And so it's so beautiful to see. I'm looking to dive more into doing more international talks And so I have something in the well, I've been contacted by a few organizations, one being in Dubai. So I'm looking forward to doing that next year as well. And yeah, so there's a lot. There's a few products that are being created in the background as well. It's been phenomenal. It's been a phenomenal 2024. But as I mentioned before, I'm also learning from the mess age moments. I'm looking to do a lot more in investing. Started it this year, but looking to do a lot more investing around properties, etc. But there's a lot of audacious steps, let's just say. I'm taking in 2025 a lot of audacious steps.
Well, I would not be surprised, and it's been amazing to just see you win some awards. And you are an outstanding speaker. I have had the pleasure of hosting you on us Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event several times now, and every time you come back with a strong and powerful message, and today was certainly that as well. You mentioned already how to connect with you, which is on various platforms. I am Michelle Watson. And of course, we're going to get to see you at the Women Thrive Summit in March, which I'm really excited about.
So I'm super excited as well. The time is coming closer, and yeah, it's a massive lineup of powerful women, and you guys have done an amazing job getting us all together, and just really, yeah, relationships are being built, and I think that is so important because what you've created, it goes beyond just in March. What happens in March, it goes beyond that. There's so many things that I think is going to be given birth from the community that has been built and the women that are here. So people definitely need to tap into the Women Thrive Summit and all the other bits that come with it.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. Lovely to see you here. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you for showing
You
up
too.
and being here
Thank
to
you, everyone.
inspire
Take
people.
care. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Let me know in the chat, how are these messages resonating with you? I love seeing you in the chat. I know we're streaming to all the different platforms. Don't be shy. Connect to our speakers. Share some things in the chat. And I think this is so, so powerful. And it's true, what we offer behind the scenes of the Women Thrive, it's not just these beautiful events that we host every month. We also have a free networking event that happens every month, first Thursday of every month, and January's one will be the 9th of January. And just ability to connect, to find your community, your tribe, your mentors, your support network, your sisters who are going to be here to cheer you on in your business and life. And you can't, it's hard to keep that balance, to keep all the areas of your life and business intact. So sometimes you need inspiration. Sometimes you need to hear from other people to just remind you. And I hope just Michelle's talk alone to start with, and of course Pia's earlier, was just a reminder to say, hey, let me take a bit of a reflection back on my life. What can I do better? What do I want to change? And really build for another successful year ahead. So I want to invite my next speaker, a lovely Danny. So Danny Rosenwald-James is a mind and body coach who draws from her personal healing journey and studies at the Procter & Gamble Institute to help others thrive. After overcoming a traumatic brain injury, she now guides and centers clients towards self-connection, healing, and personal transformation. Her international bestseller, The Wandering Heart book, is deeply personal tale, loosely based on her experience overcoming her brain injury. Through her coaching and writing, Danny now inspires others to face life challenges with resilience and curiosity. Good morning, Danny. Where are you joining us from this morning?
Good morning. I'm in lovely Sweden.
I love that. I love that. Danny, I know you always have a wonderful story ready for us, so I won't waste time because I'm really curious to hear you speak.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So life doesn't always give us a straight path. But what if I told you you have the power to create your own? Before I dive into my story, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a woman who, much like many of you, has faced setbacks, self-doubt, and that needless feeling of pressure to prove yourself in a world that doesn't feel like it's made for us. I've worn many hats, as Raymonda had mentioned, and all of those have taught me something about the strength of us as women. We can do so much. It's just we need to believe in ourselves and be there for ourselves. And these lessons that I had learned didn't come so easy. So time and time again, I had to rewrite the story that I was telling myself and tell myself that I can truly be who I want to be. One of the most pivotal points in my life was one of the worst points as well at the time. It was 10 years ago that I had a traumatic brain injury. And I woke up from a coma, 3 days being in the hospital, foggy, not understanding what had happened, my body not functioning, and my future felt uncertain. I remember lying in that hospital bed thinking, what now? What am I supposed to do? I was overwhelmed. My life had just shattered. And now just laying there, I felt lost. And then I heard this voice, this inner voice say to me, this is but a moment. And when I heard that, it felt like that sentence had become my lifeline. I realized that I get to choose what happens next. I get to choose what is laying in my path. I could stay here, be stuck in this place, be defined by what just had happened to me, or I can change and make my life as I want it to be. Sorry, a little emotional. So I chose freedom instead of letting that write my path for me. I chose that I wanted my journey to be what I wanted it to be. I didn't do it just for the physical healing, but I did it for a deeper meaning in there. And I began to imagine myself as whole, as unbroken, being able to walk out of that hospital and being able to go back to a life that I truly loved. Let me tell you something. When you fully believe in yourself and you commit with everything you have, anything's possible. I mean, I'm walking proof of that. I fully gave in and believed in myself. I fully surrendered to get to where I am today. And I want so many more of us to do this. Maybe you're going through self-doubt, illness, or a loss of a business. We must remember, though, that we get to choose what happens next. We just have to keep pushing forward. As Michelle had mentioned, there's good in things. You have to look for it. And I think that it's really good for us to stay positive when we're going through all the muck and grime of life. And there is something good to see. I mean, Ben Franklin, he found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. So he took all of those failures and made his success. And this is something that all of us need to do. It's not good for us to give up on ourselves when we can see we can do so much more. So what I want you to take from my journey is we're not defined by our challenges. We're defined by the choices we make when these challenges happen. We have the power to create the life that we truly want. It's just we need to be there for ourselves, believe 110, 150% all in. You got this. Because the truth is that we always have the power to transform within us. All it takes is just that one decision, that one moment. And that's when you'd say, this is but a moment. All I get to choose from this is I get to choose what happens next. And for me, this was about a 7-year process for my healing journey. But throughout that, I had learned so much. I had learned how to have self-love, how to treat myself with care, how to be my best friend, how to listen to my body. And these are things that I think everyone truly needs to learn at some point in their life. And they can help them with their illnesses, a loss of a business, anything. Our minds are so powerful, and it needs to get more credit for what it can do with us. So that's why I truly believe that we can change our life as we see fit. And that's what I've been up to. I guess that's all I have to say. I did it a lot quicker than I expected. I'm going to be, I guess I should mention, I'm going to be creating a 6-month program. And this is all about helping people publish their own writing and turning it into a book. And the reason that I'm creating this is because I've realized that so many of us, especially us women, have some story to say. And all we need is just to have someone to help back us up and getting out of our way in order to make the process happen. So I have the mindset involved in that.
Amazing. Danny, yes, take a leap. Sometimes you have to listen to your heart. And I love that your story is like the wandering heart. And yeah, sometimes you just got to take a leap and discover for yourself, because you don't know which way your life is going to take you. What's next for you for next year? What kind of exciting things you got lined up?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that program. I'm also going to be doing a couple of other events, like for 𝐲𝐲𝐬 Studios, going to be doing the Women Thrive Summit. I have another event that I'm going to be doing with 𝐷𝐷𝐷. That's one of the other Women Thrive ladies. And yeah, I can see that there are going to be a lot more things falling in place. But as of right now, that's what I got on my mind. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to be doing some hiking because I'm also a travel blogger. So that gets in my life with the traveling. So I'm excited to do that with a tour company.
Amazing. What's your favorite destination?
So far, oh man, people ask me this a lot, and it always goes back to my first solo trip, and that was to Peru.
Wow.
And because that was actually, I went on, well, technically I didn't fully go solo because I met up with my friend who's now my husband. So Peru is really close to my heart because that's where we fell in love with each other. And I got to experience so much from just the locals. I mean, I learned how to hunt with machetes, fish, and we caught 8 fish with machetes.
Wow.
And then we actually got to camp out in the Amazons, and I tried ayahuasca and met a shaman and all of these kinds of things, like fully surrounded by locals. So I like to go away from the tourist areas if possible, just because I get a true feeling of the locals and the place.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Danny, I hope you enjoy your adventures. And where can people read your travel blog or connect with you?
Yeah, so you can find my travel blog at misfitwanders.com. You can find that on pretty much all the social medias. And then if you want to find about my speaking, that would be Danny Rosenblad James. So that's below here.
Amazing. Well, I want to encourage our audience to connect with Danny. Drop her a message, check out her travel blog, because I know it's packed with some wonderful, wonderful stories. And of course, Danny is going to be featured on the Women Thrive Summit in March. What is your talk about and what people can expect?
Yeah, so my talk is going to be about overcoming adversities. So I'll be talking about my traumatic brain injury and how we as people have this power that I had mentioned about our minds. And it's just that we need to get out of our way. So I'll have some tips regarding that and how other people can just help themselves with getting out of their own way.
Absolutely. Amazing. And it's so needed. It's so needed for us to have those conversations. And the things that you have gone through is a testament just how strong, resilient we can be. And actually we can heal ourselves with the right tools and methodologies. So I'm glad that you're here to share your testimony and also inspire others of what's possible. So really, really appreciate you, Danny.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to-
Wow. And we are in full effect of Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event. I hope you are enjoying the lineup we have today. I would love to invite my co-host to the stage to come hang out with us. What are you making so far of the speakers we had?
Oh, it's just great. I think I was just thinking about like what are the key messages, and I think loud and clear. It's about resilience. We are thrown so many life curveballs, and it's how we deal with that and how we build our resilience. that has just really blown my mind. I mean, whenever I, especially with Danny, when I hear her story and what she has been through and the choices that she's made to not be in that place where she was stuck and she couldn't move forward, and actually, being able to go out and create and travel and do the things that she did. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Like what we can achieve as human beings, in terms of healing and creation. It's just amazing. And then the other thing that's coming loud and clear is community. All of our speakers are talking about community and the power of community. Obviously, Michelle, what she talked about was very significant. This time of year is a really great time to start to plan and start to think about, okay, what do I want to create next year? Am I building the business of my dreams? Or is it like, bringing me down? Is it like a weight on my legs and bringing me down onto the seabed instead of flying high? And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, Ray, is that you have asked our speakers what's next for them in 2025. And I'd love to hear from you as the founder of Women Thrive, what to expect from Women Thrive in 2025. What are you up to? I know you're always cooking something.
Don't let me speak on it, because I'm just going to manifest something new and amazing. But we have some exciting plans for the year ahead. I'm really excited about meeting some of our community members in person in the new year. Really am. We are doing some in-person events, and since COVID, it's been really hard to come back into event space, and the costs have gone out through the roof, and it's just been hard and I think risky as well. So 2025 is about coming back to real in-person events. First one kicking off at the end of January, which is going to be our speakers international retreat in Miami. And Abigail, you'll be there, so I'm super excited to have you there by my side. So Miami will be amazing as far as coaching our speakers, but also launching our Women Thrive book there. So we have our international in-person book launch event, and I see Neo just commented. Neo is one of our authors. We are highlighting 14 authors who have been writing their stories for this half of the year, and finally their stories will be released in the Women Thrive book at end of January, 1st of February in Miami. We actually got we got a solo book that we're launching of our solo authors who published with us. I'm writing my own book, so that's something in the works. Not sure when it will be published yet, because life is so incredibly busy. And we're going to have more events. I mean, the summit, of course, without saying, is always a highlight of the year. But we have some other in-person events lined up for the year. And I'm mentoring more speakers officially. I've never really done that before. I've never really opened my own program officially. This is the first time I am putting together my signature program that has been in the works for a long, long time. And I'm bringing together all of my knowledge and experience of working with speakers. So it's a program called Unapologetic. And I get to now officially mentor, support women who want to become speakers, professional speakers, paid speakers, and make a bigger impact through stages. And I know it's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of people who struggle with sharing and speaking. It's the biggest fear as far as I'm concerned, and I felt the same way. And I want to support other people who want to speak on stages, like I started from not knowing anything to where I am today.
So good. I'm so glad that you are mentoring and coaching and supporting, and that the community get to have that piece of you, because you are an incredible mentor. And I'm very, very excited for that, and congratulations on everything that you have achieved, that the team has achieved. It's just wonderful to have been a part of it. And of course, the in-person events. So exciting. What we're going to get up to in Miami, what to expect in Miami when people come along.
You give me goosebumps. Well, first of all, Miami is one of my first loves. When Danny was saying, "What's your favorite?" When I asked her, "What's your favorite destination?" Miami has always been one of my favorite destinations. So I'm really excited to take our community along for the ride to my favorite city because it's absolutely magical. It helps me personally manifest bigger things in my life and see bigger vision. It just expands your thinking. So in Miami, we together are going to run a 2-day workshop for speakers to help them really plan their year for 2025 as far as their business, their content, visibility, speaking, authority, leadership, and things like that. So it's going to be a very intimate 2 days event. Plus, we have some photo shoots lined up, which I'm excited to get women some beautiful shots with a backdrop of Miami. That's just going to be insanely beautiful. And then the following day, on Saturday, on 1st of February, we're going to launch our books. And we're going to meet our amazing community and speakers and authors and have a lot of fun celebrating.
You were talking earlier about, the fact that, I mean, in-person events was such a big thing within the industry in general, but obviously with Women Thrive, because I know that that's how you first started the business and founded the business. And then obviously, lockdown happened, COVID, and things have slowly started to change, and it's becoming a little bit more easy to get together. How amazing is it when you can get together? Do you remember that time? I'll never forget when we did our Valencia retreat last year. I will never, ever forget the screams that I heard from coming upstairs. We were in this beautiful, beautiful villa in the hills above Valencia. And I was like, what is that noise? And I realized that all of the authors had arrived at the same time in this 2 cars. And everyone was sort of seeing each other for the first time and seeing you. And it was just such a delight to witness. How amazing is it when you can get together with people and give them a big hug?
Stop it. Thinking about that. It's emotional because, for me as a founder, I guess, it's because I build and nurture and mentor these women and get to see them get to a particular place. But for them, building those beautiful relationships, the connections, the intimacy is deep. It's not like other places where, let's say, you sign up to write a book and it just is, oh, you just submit your chapter and that's it, you get published. It's not like that. For me, the quality over quantity is so important. So I want to mentor them. I want to review their chapters, feedback. But the space we share, the space we grow in and grow together and heal, I believe that speaking, authorship, visibility, your journey in becoming more visible is deeply healing and personal. And if you get to share that space with other women who are going through similar challenges, who are growing through this process, the relationships and bonds that you build are so deep. So I know when we get to meet in Miami, and there's quite a few of the speakers and authors coming, I think there's going to be about 10 or 15 people I have never seen in person, but I've built those beautiful, deep relationships with. I haven't even let my mind to go there yet, so what it's going to feel like, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I feel the same. Women that I've not just known through Women Thrive, I've known previously, that I've coached and mentored, and it just feels like, whenever I meet someone that I've built a relationship with online in an online community in this space, it feels like you've known each other for years, and it's like it doesn't seem feasible that you've never actually met them in person. And then when you get to meet them, it's just such a wonderful experience. So we're very excited about all the things that are happening next year. And then we do have some incredible speakers for you. Just in a minute, we're going to introduce our next speaker. But one question that I wanted to ask you, Ramonda. So in January, we're going to be opening the doors to our next co-authored book series, and it's going to be book 5. How does that feel to move into book 5?
It was just a seed of an idea. I didn't even think we would do series. It was a suggestion from one of our community members, and it's amazing. It's not just a book; it's a testimony of women's stories of overcoming adversities and the inspiration and the impact that it continues to make in the world. And the community that we foster through the book series is amazing. We are going to open opportunity for book 5 for people to write their story and be part of this amazing journey. And it's going to be life changing. So if you are thinking about becoming an author, get in touch with us. Is going to be one of those life changing journeys. You get to mentor with us for 6 months and release your story into the world. But it's not just about the outcome of the publishing of your story, your book. It's the outcome of your personal growth and development, which happens in the process. And that is a life changing, not even talking about the lives that you're going to change as a result of you sharing your story. And that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole process is going to be starting in January, where we're going to be taking applications. And then, you know, if you want to be considered, just as Ramonda said, just let us know, and we'll mark your name, and we will be in touch as soon as that opportunity opens up. And you can just jump on a call with me and just have a conversation around it. I'm really, really excited about everything that's going to be happening next year.
Thank you, Abigail. Appreciate you being just my partner in doing all of this. I've done this for so long on my own, and just having someone like you to support and hold space for the speakers and authors, and when we do these events, it's just knowing that somebody has my back is just makes me feel like, what else can we do? We're truly unstoppable, and that's just to support others, to support our community, to support our speakers and authors. And I want that growth for everyone, and I hope that's in us. They find that friend and a cheerleader and the community that will always stand by them. So that's my goal and intention.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person again in Miami. Let's do a photo shoot.
Let's have fun. And then go boogie. You promised me a night out. We're going to go and have fun.
I did. I was like, you have one night where I'll turn into get my 20s back again, right?
Let's do it. So come and join us. It's going to be amazing.
Amazing. Well, I reckon by your timing, Ramonda, in Spain, it is 11:11. So that is a really good sign to move on to our next speaker. Shall we do it?
Let's go. Let's go have fun.
Thank you. Thanks, Ramonda. Okay, so we're very excited to introduce our next speaker onto the stage. Her name is Elena Su. She is the founder of Neodance, a creative self-leadership practice for heartfelt visionaries to embody their true self and reclaim their personal power through embodied transformation. Somatics and dance. She especially supports the out-of-box thinkers to own and express their unique brilliance and boldest ideas, because you were not born, I love this, Elena, you were not born to be vanilla. You certainly weren't. Welcome to the stage, Elena. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Abigail. Yes, I'm good, thank you. Hi, everyone. And what a wonderful morning it's been already. I haven't seen all of it, to be truthful, but here I am, and just wanting to follow up, first of all, how amazing Women Thrive is and how creative and so much is happening with it. And this is all going to weave back into what I'm saying. So Abby and Ramonda just talked about COVID. You remember that time, right? When we couldn't go out, we were restricted. And I remember I heard of someone who lives in Ibiza. He lives in the countryside. He's got a little house in the campo in the countryside. He went out for a run to stretch his legs, right? And the Spanish policeman was probably bored and fined him on the spot. I think it was about 150 euros for going out for a run around his house, right? Now, how often, though, do we still police ourselves with what we say, as women especially, how often do we feel like we can't say no? We feel guilty to say no. We feel guilty to have that boundary with our partners, with our business colleagues, with our children, right? With our friends. How often do we think, oh, I'd like to wear that, but I'm not quite sure if I can wear that. It won't look good on me, right? We stop ourselves. We make that judgment. And then it goes even worse. It goes into our behavior. You know, I remember after my son started at school, when we went shopping in the supermarket, when we went to pay, I was standing slightly out of line. He goes, Mum, get in the line, quick, get into the queue properly, stand straight. And I thought, whoa, okay. So this is what happens when you start school, right? So this acculturation starts young. And all of this is in our bodies. Okay, it's in there in our bodies. That's why all our trauma, our stories, our histories, it's all there in our bodies. That's why now so many of us, if we have trauma and we go to do trauma work, it's all about somatics sensing back into the body and learning. Now, aside from all of this self-policing that we already do, another aspect of the fact that we restrict ourselves is that it also stops our creative process, right? We are ambitious people. We want to create amazing things in the world. We need to put our ideas out in the world. But if we are stuck in our bodies, that creativity isn't going to come out. So in the basic model of the creative process, and there's quite a few of them, but there's like 4 basic stages. The first stage, we're sort of like struggling, we're thinking about the ideas, our brain's overactive, we're in beta state. And then it goes into the second stage, which is the release, or what they call the incubation stage. Now, in Jungian archetype, it's the stage of the wanderer. And when you wander, it means that you allow your mind to be more free. And to enable your mind to be more free, you also have to let the rest of you, your mind that is connected to your body, be more free. And so my practice is through movement, through dance, through somatic work, through embodiment, because when you allow release and ease in your body, it allows your mind to free up, right? Movement and dance not only help you drop out of your overstretched beta brainwave state, when you're overstressed, you know, fight or flight, all of that cortisol running to the hilt, it helps you get back, drop down into your alpha state, which eventually goes to alpha delta. And that's when you are meditating, deep meditation. Your brainwaves drop out of your busy frontal cortex and they go back into this more dreamlike quality. And movement is a really fun and easy way to do it, especially if you find sitting meditation a struggle, you know, because actually a lot of us are on such overdrive and hyperactive, plus we're sitting a lot of the time at the desk. Even I am, you know, I'm a dance person, but I have to sit at my desk to do all this online stuff, right? We can't avoid it. So actually what we need to do to then free ourselves up is get into our bodies and move. I think I might be running out of time here, so I'm just aware of that. But that's just my message for today. You want to get creative, you need to get into your body, you need to open up your brain, and you need to allow yourself to move. So I hope something of that resonated, and I hope that will mean that you just get up and have a little break in a minute. If you're at a desk, if you're sitting down, go out for a walk, make sure you get some of that movement in and let your brain juices start going. Thanks for joining me for this.
Thank you so much, Elena. You're getting some support here online, your fans. I carry on. Elena, thank you so much for sharing. I really love when you talk about the science behind it as well, right? Because how often do we feel our creativity being blocked? Because like you said, you know, like your son's like, stay in the queue, stay in line. And it's almost like, it's like this, I've got to do what I am told to do, and I've got to be good. And it's almost like this people pleasing that comes out instead of this ultimate freedom that we want to create. What can we do, you know, in terms of like starting to just very slowly integrate that into our lives? Where do we start, Elena?
I think we start with the very basics, which is learning to feel our bodies again. So many of us are actually cut off from that because of past traumas and histories, but or because we get locked into the same way of moving, right? The way we stand at the cooker, the way we open the fridge, the way we have these habitual ways of moving our bodies, okay, getting into the car, getting out the car, and freeing that up can slightly feel weird and strange and uncomfortable, right? When we don't move in the ways that we used to. So allowing different ways to move and feeling your body again. A lot of us are, when I say we're cut off, we don't notice our feet on the ground. We're not aware of the weight of our pelvis that supports our gravity and that connects us to where we're sitting. We're not aware of feeling our spine lengthening and being this central axis that goes through our bodies to support us. Because when we start to feel these things, we're dropping out of here. We're dropping out of beta brainwave and we're dropping further deep in. It's almost like you go, something drops when you start to sense into your body again. And this is part of the somatic aspect. And this is part of being embodied, being aware of your physical being and the space you're taking up and the way you're moving in space. It's stuff that we don't often think about. Right? Unless we're sort of going into a place where we have to squeeze into a queue, or we're trying to squeeze into something that doesn't quite fit us. Then we start to notice our body. And what do? We criticize. We don't sort of just listen and notice and feel and sense, but without judgment. And when we do that, we're not thinking about what our to-do list, we're not thinking about anything else, because we're dropping back into something deeper that's our inner support. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And, you know, it's a really good reminder, especially as a lot of our audience actually are aspiring speakers. And I think it's a really good reminder to, you know, as part of that preparation, you know, it's not just what you say and, you know, how you look and how you're lit and, you know, your backdrop. It's also about the preparation, the movement, and getting your body in that state when you're speaking. So it's a great reminder to all of us. Thank you so much, Elena.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We are very excited to have you speak on our stage on the summit in 2025. Are we going to expect to have a little bit of practical?
You're going to get all of it. You're going to get some lovely infographics to show you exactly what's going on. You're going to get some guided movement time. I'm going to really take you in without, you know, and help you to just drop out of your mind, get into your body, just experience a bit of it. So for those of you who really like to know the facts, you'll get a bit of that. For those of you who like to see something, you can see me demonstrating. For those of you who like to learn experientially, you're going to get that, because that's the best way to learn. And of course, it's all about the body. So it is a talk, but it's going to be a walking talk, walking, dancing, moving talk.
Wonderful. Thanks, Elena. We are very much looking forward to it. And thank you so much for coming on and speaking on the showcase today.
Thank you. Thank you, Abby. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so we are going to move from the UK, where Elena is based, and we're going to be going right around the other side of the world, where actually we're going to be catapulting you now into the future, because it's evening time there now for our next speaker, who has been on in the green room right from the very beginning of this course. I've been looking at her lovely, beautiful face as we've been speaking, and now it's her turn to come onto the stage. So I'd really love to invite onto the stage 𝐩 𝐸. So 𝐩 is the book writing coach, and she has been coaching and supporting writers since the early 2000s. She is a published author herself. She's written fiction and non-fiction books. And in her signature book coaching program, the Book Writing Academy, she supports writers to write and complete publishing-ready fiction and non-fiction books to communicate their knowledge and stories. 𝐸, it's so amazing to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Abby. There's been quite a lot of talk about books tonight from Michelle and Danny and you and Ray. So it's quite a relevant topic, I think.
We've been setting you up, Gail. And it's quite late there, isn't it? Are you a night owl?
Not particularly, but it's not too late because I'm in Queensland and it's 8:23 here, so not too bad at all.
It's not too bad. Gail, it's wonderful to have you here. Please take the stage.
Thank you, Abigail. So the beauty of self-publishing your book is that you get to go on the exciting journey of choosing your own book cover and how your book is going to look. And so my talk tonight is based on my own very recent experience. I've chosen to self-publish my books. I've published 2 books so far. I'm publishing my 3rd book on the 3rd of January, and I only just realized that coincidence, my 3rd book on the 3rd of January, but the significance of that date is that it's my mum's birthday, so celebrating her as well. So my own experience with I work with a lot of different types of writers writing a lot of different types of books, and I work with them from the start of their book writing journey right through to finishing writing their book. And then once they're finished, then I guide them on the next stages. And the very next stages are getting their book professionally edited and then having their book cover designed. So working with a designer and also if they want their book to be available as an ebook, then working with an ebook designer as well. So as I said, I've very recently gone through this myself with my current book, which is a travel memoir. And I just wanted to tell you a little about that. And the importance of working with experts, because you spend so long writing your book. For some people, it's many, many years. For other people, it's a few months. But the average time that it would take for you to finish your book and get to the point of being ready to go to the designer would probably be close to 12 months. So I worked with a designer here in Australia. Now I could have gone to, and I'm not bagging it because there are definitely good people, but I could have gone to a platform like Fiverr. However, with my business, as I said, I help and advise my clients what to do for the next steps. And so I've worked with various book designers over the years, and I chose one of them to work with. The experience was absolutely amazing. She was so professional. I absolutely love my cover. Every time I see it, I just smile. And it was just such an amazing experience. It took me a surprisingly long time to decide on the cover because there was so many things that I had to take into account, and you don't really realize this until you start working with an expert and they explain what's involved exactly. So yeah, I mean, you have to, it's not only the cover either, you've got to think about the internal design, and there's quite a few design decisions to make about what the look is going to be inside. But as I said, when you are self-publishing, that's the beauty. You get to choose the look and feel of your book. So I went through that process with her and everything worked out absolutely perfectly. She eventually, when we'd finished, she sent me all of the files, and there's, you know, for actually uploading to Amazon as well as to use on social media and promoting the book and everything like that. So it's a lot of material that you get given, get sent. And then then I wanted to, so with the files, I wanted then to have an ebook created. So again, I worked with someone that one of my clients has worked extensively with, and I decided that she was the person that I wanted to work with to convert for the ebook conversion. So obviously there's quite a bit of difference in the print book layout, etc., as compared to the print book with the ebook. So she did that process probably in less than 3 days, probably 2 days. And then today we had a Zoom call and she talked me through the whole process of uploading it to Amazon. In fact, she did more than just talk me through it. She actually shared the screen with me and she did it for me and explained every single field, what it meant, what I had to put in there, or what she was going to put in there, and all of the technical stuff that would send me into a bit of a panic, like, you know, the metadata, like the keywords, the categories on Amazon, so that your book can actually be searched for. Well, she did it. We did the whole thing within 45 minutes, and she uploaded it, you know, the cover and the manuscript, and what I was able to put the date as the 3rd of January. So it's just sitting there. I'm going to go in tomorrow and do exactly the same process with my print book. And then I don't even have to think about it anymore, because on the 3rd of January, it will automatically go live. So this week, at the same time as all this was happening, I had one of my clients who has just finished we just finished her children's book, and she went the opposite way to me. She went through someone, not on Fiverr initially, but someone that she'd heard of. Well, she ended up being completely unhappy. He didn't do what she asked. And so she'd already paid him. And so she then had to go and look for someone else to do it. And she found someone on Fiverr, and I think she's been happy with them. So I guess my takeaway message from this is, I personally think that with all of the effort and time that you put into writing your book, it's better if you haven't got the funds to employ somebody or engage someone who's really an expert in their field in the book design area, that you just wait a little longer to save up, because it really is well worth it. Your book goes out to the world and you really want to be proud of it and, you know, smile like I do every time I see the cover. So you can, if you'd like to connect with me, my Instagram is below here in the chat, on the screen here, and I'm also on LinkedIn as Gail Tagaro, the book writing coach. So thank you so much.
Gail, thank you so much for sharing that process. I'd really love to hear in your words, you know, what to expect from you when you speak on the Women Thrive stage on the summit in 2025. What is the story that you're going to be taking? What is the inspiration that you're going to be bringing to the stage for our audience?
Sure. Well, at this stage, I'm thinking of how to, for people who want to write a book, how they can achieve that dream goal of getting their book written, what they need to do, and how they can go about achieving that, so that they get from blank page to finished book. I want to take people through that journey. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you're going to be offering some real practical guidance and wisdom. We're really looking forward to that, Gail.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you, like, what inspired you to be a writer? Like, what's your why? What is it that you wanted to create in your life through being an author and helping your clients in this way?
Wow. I've just always loved writing, Abigail. Absolutely always loved it. But as it turns out, to actually have become an author has happened later in my life. But and I've coached a lot more people through writing their own books before I really started doing my book. So yes, I published 2 books 5 years ago, and I'm about to publish my 3rd, and then I'm already writing my 4th. So it just seems to be escalating, which is fantastic. And yeah, I just love seeing people realize their dreams, because writing a book is a huge accomplishment, and it's a huge, I don't like using the word journey. We all overuse it, I think, but it's a very long road, you know, to travel to get to the end of writing. Or, you know, when you think of starting a book, or when you think I want to write a book, but from there to actually sit down and do it and consistently work at it several times a week, and to get to the end of that process and to have your book finished, seeing the faces of the people I work with when they achieve that, it's just amazing. Yeah, I just love it.
That's one thing that I hear again and again from people like yourself, that, you know, and from Rwanda and the, you know, our authorship team here, and for other people that I speak to, like the sense of accomplishment, you know, the support that you give to these people, that doing something that I would think is a real lifelong dream, right, really coming into fruition. That's a really amazing superpower that you have, Gail.
Thank you, Abby. I feel very lucky.
Yeah. Well, Gail, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom, and we're very excited to have you speak on our stage next year. It's not going to be long, is it? Only a few months.
That's right. Not long at all. Thank you so much, Abby. I've really enjoyed it.
Just in the meantime, where can people find you? I know you've got your handle, so I love that you do that. I do that as well, just so that everyone can find you. But where do you hang out? Where's the best place to find you and follow you online?
Either Instagram, which is the handle down there, or LinkedIn, where I'm exactly what I've got on the screen, Gail Tagaro, the book writing coach.
Amazing. Thank you, Gail. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for I know it's not too late, but, you know, thank you for coming on your evening time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on board.
It's been a pleasure too. Thanks, Abby.
Yeah. Okay, so how are we doing? How are you enjoying our speakers? We actually have a couple more speakers that I want to share with you. So please stick around, because we have got some amazing words of wisdom. But I'd really love to know in the chat. Let's keep it active. Let's keep it interactive. We're going to give you some energy. You give us some energy back. I'd love to see in the comments what it is that you are learning from today. What's your main takeaway? What's your inspiration? Which are the speakers that are standing it out for you? And also, because we're talking about books today a lot, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? And what would the title be? I'd love to know. And also, what would be on the front cover? You know, I love speaking, so I've never, a lot of people ask me if I'd ever write a book, and to be honest with you, I'd rather have a TV show, which is why I love doing this. But I just love to read books, and I really, really admire anyone that would really go through that process, because as Gail's just said, I mean, Gail, I know it is a little bit cliche, but it is a journey, right? It's a journey. And certainly from the experience of watching the transformation and that journey that our authors go through, especially when they co-author the books with Women Thrive, it really it kind of brings things up right? It brings it, that whole process of writing a book is incredibly cathartic and healing. And I'm sure, Gail, you'll agree with me. Michelle, who was one of our speakers earlier, who also helps people write books, I'm sure that you'll agree with me that this is it's a beautiful process of transformation. So certainly if that is something that is on your bingo card for 2025, then why not get that big dabber pen out and put a big red mark on that you're going to be doing it. So we love your comments. Thank you so much. Clodagh, we're going to be inviting Clodagh onto the stage in a minute. I love Gail's focus on bringing a dream to life. So do I. Amazing. So let's move on now to the very Clodagh who has just commented there. So I would love to invite our next speaker onto the stage. So Clodagh Mickeljohn is a transformational leader, speaker, and founder of the Quantum Heart Academy, where she empowers heart-led leaders to break through inner barriers, achieve heart-centered success, and step into intuitive leadership and magnetic presence. Through her groundbreaking quantum heart activation process, I love that word, but I love that, by the way. She integrates cutting-edge quantum science to create flow states and unlock limitless potential in life and business. Clodagh, welcome to the stage. I absolutely love your bio.
Oh, thank you, Abigail. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I really love the focus today on the way I've perceived it is, self-love. From the start of today's session, you were talking about conditioning and how we as women have been conditioned to compete against each other, and actually how beautiful communities like this are changing all that. And it's just been a theme, because Pia was also talking about, not shaming our emotions and making them negative. And to me, it's all about, treating ourselves with that self-love, that self-compassion, about honoring our experience and honoring our healing. So beautiful.
Oh, yes, it really is. And I know that you build your own communities as well. You have wonderful communities. You're hosting your own summits. We're really excited to hear all about that. But we'll have a little chat afterwards. Clodagh, please take it away.
Thank you, Abigail. So all of us here are on a mission really to help women step into their power and really live to their full potential. For me, this is really about living our true nature, because we are energetic beings. We're heart-centered beings. And I really feel that, as many of us do, heart-centered leadership is really what the world needs right now more than ever. And so much of the time, Elena mentioned this as well, we live in our heads. So much of what stops us in life comes from stories we've created, beliefs we've formed, patterns of behavior that have become more familiar, and conditioning. And so I'm wondering, how many of you have felt you were called to more? You felt the calling to something bigger, and then something gets in the way, like fear, like doubt, or like invisible resistance that you can't put your finger on. Or maybe you have that desire deep in your heart, but something always seems to block it. You've probably had a vision for your business, but maybe you felt like an imposter. And maybe you've heard that inner voice that just tells you that something's not possible, or asks you, who are you to do that? Well, did you know that your heart holds the key to your purpose, but also to your success? Now, hear me out on this, because most of us hear that the heart is the gateway to the soul. We're invited to follow our hearts. The great Sufi poet Rumi said, your heart knows the way. And I've experienced this in a really powerful way. Now, many of us here have experienced or had a corporate past, and I was once an award-winning TV director. I was living in London, I'd got married, I'd bought a house, and I'd been truly blessed with a beautiful, healthy baby boy. Now, my heart and my intuition guided me out of total chaos when my marriage broke down suddenly, my boy was still tiny wee, and that life fell apart. I faced heartbreak. I felt like everything was collapsing around me. The dreams I'd had, everything I'd worked towards was falling apart. But in a moment of deep despair, I received a powerful intuitive message. And instead of trying to fix what was broken, my heart led me to start afresh, going against my logical mind, which was telling me to try and fix the problem. And much to everyone's surprise, shock, I moved with my son to a tiny town in Spain and started a completely new chapter. Now, of course, when I went there, I had absolutely no idea how it would turn out. But I started a new business. I trained as a coach. I trained in a host of transformational modalities. And I really felt the strong call to empower others and to really help women create what they truly desire in life. And I know that this is the calling of many of us. There's many of you listening, many of us entrepreneurs, many of us start businesses because we want to help others. But we all experience doubts, uncertainty, fears. We can feel guilt or shame when things don't go right or as we planned. And I was no exception. Even though I'd helped countless people on TV and had done presenting, when it came to showing up in my own business, all sorts of resistance arose. And this is normal. Most of this resistance, as I mentioned, comes from stories we've created, often unconsciously. It's come from what we've learned from often well-meaning parents, guardians, teachers, or conditioning, societal expectation. And Abigail alluded to this earlier, we also bear the imprints of past generations. Many women have blocks to visibility because we were persecuted for our gifts. And this is all part of our experience. The key is not to blame yourself, not to criticize yourself or judge yourself, which of course we do, but to treat yourself with self-love, to honor your experience and to know that whatever you're walking through is an invitation to get curious and to bring you back to your true nature. Because what I discovered is the heart may give us intuitive guidance, but it also holds the key to releasing those limitations and fears. Because your heart isn't just intuitive, it's intrinsically connected to your energetic self, to your higher self. It was the very first organ formed in the body, so it has this powerful energetic connection to your highest potential. And this connection, as I mentioned, not only explains the intuitive knowing, but it also opens the door to deep and potent healing and to releasing the blocks that hold you back. So it's really about treating yourself with love, the experiences you've been through, for facing the fire of adversity and learning from it. And I developed my quantum heart activation process to help clear these limitations and blocks. And many of my clients have overcome fear of failure as well as fear of success and resistance to being visible and to stepping into their leadership. And they've also overcome self-sabotage patterns we can't understand in our own behavior, so that they can create what they truly desire. And they've also released money blocks so they can create thriving businesses. So today, my invitation to you is to tune into your heart and know that that calling is real. Believe in yourself and your true nature. And a technique I often share is to drop into your heart and really tune into what I call a true choice. So you drop into your heart and ask, what would I truly love? What would I truly love? And then don't judge yourself for having resistance to your true desire. Honor yourself and your experiences and get curious about unearthing what comes up for you. And you really can begin to unearth this in a very simple way by really, as I say, dropping into what you'd love, tuning into it, and then finishing this sentence quickly and without overthinking. I'd really love this, but, and just see what comes up for you. Don't overthink it, whatever comes up for you. So this is getting curious about the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns that come up for you, because awareness is obviously the first step. And then when you begin to clear these limitations and get alignment between your heart and your higher self and your conscious mind and your unconscious, this is the meaning of true alignment for me, and to living your true nature as a heart-centered woman. So if there's one thing I'd like to leave you with, it's just this. Whenever resistance crops up, whenever adversity strikes, just remember that your heart holds the key to your greatest potential and your deepest joy. So just imagine the possibilities when you unlock it fully.
Clodagh, thank you so much. I could listen to you for a long time.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love when you talk about the heart. You know, as you know, I am absolutely obsessed with and work with human design.
Mm-hmm.
In human design, there's 9 centers and the heart is the smallest. But I always say it's small but mighty, because the heart really does run the show. And that beautiful practice that you taught, and I know that you do so much, you know, the heart healing, the healing through love and through the heart, is such a beautiful practice.
And I also know, I was listening to one of these previous events, and you told a really powerful story about your heart and how grateful you are for your heart for guiding you in a different way, but leading to where you are today.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, with my heart condition. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Where you can, you know, you can be sort of like in your head, like you were saying, in your head, doing, and then your body can be like, enough, that's it. And sometimes they're very subtle, and sometimes, in my case, not so subtle. I really love the work that you do. Thank you so much for sharing it so beautifully.
Oh, it's been an absolute joy to be here today. I've got the sun streaming in, so I haven't got my light on, because you're in sunshine in the UK as well.
Yeah, actually, it's quite a nice sunny day today. It's been pretty miserable, typical British weather. But yeah, we've got a bit of sunshine today, which is always good. Clodagh, where can we find you to discover more about your work? And please share with us about the summit that you've got coming up as well.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, well, I've got some resources which help you activate your heart energy and also clear some of those blocks. And my contact's obviously in the chat. You can reach out to me, send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. And I'm so excited about the summit, the upcoming summit. It's such an incredible lineup, and we've all been getting to know each other over the last few months. So I'm going to share how to unlock the quantum power of your heart in order to amplify your impact, your influence, and your income. And I'll be diving a bit deeper into the science, the merging of science and ancient wisdom, really, in the power of the heart. Science is basically showing what ancient wisdom has known for millennia. And yeah, basically I'll share how quantum energy and heart activation are the secrets to locking your limitless potential.
We are very much looking forward to it, Clodagh. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming on and joining us today.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Enjoy the sunshine. What's it like where you are? Hey, typical British, we just talk about the weather immediately. Start to talk about the weather. Who's ready for our last speaker? We have one more amazing speaker, amazing woman to share with you. I want to make sure that you are still awake, you're still with us, you're still cheering us on. Let's have some comments, some yeses in the chat if you are ready for our next wonderful speaker, who I'm going to introduce you to now. Her name is 𝐷𝐸 Andrea 𝐷𝐸. I'm so sorry, 𝐷𝐸, if I've got your surname right. Let me just. Is it 𝐷𝐸?
𝐷𝐸. Yeah, it's a kind of like German Schwab name. Yeah.
So if it's 𝐷𝐸. Yeah. Amazing. I'm so sorry. Right, I should know this by now. Anyway, 𝐷𝐸. Now we're saving the best until last, because 𝐷𝐸 is an orgasm coach. She's a trauma and transgenerational healing specialist. We've spoken about generational trauma on our other talks, and 𝐷𝐸 is going to bring it all together. And she's the founder of the Conscious Woman Academy, with her unique, holistic, express, I want to say it like that, method. She empowers women to break free from the limitations of their past, rewrite their old stories, and unleash their full potential to create the life they truly desire. 𝐷𝐸, it's so lovely to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm so excited. And, I was just in the waiting room, and this excitement was very strange for me. So I'm really, really curious what will come up, sharing my story.
Wonderful. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. And today I brought a little Christmas story, and as we are in this holiday season, and my main passion is pleasure and showing pleasure on different ways, just out of the bedroom. And Christmas always has been somehow magic, tradition, self-love, and also love, because self-love was they were the previous amazing sisters were talking about. And but instead of following this usual script, we could also create something special, filled in some kind of new magic, and which is rooted pleasure, joy, and maybe deep connection. And I brought two short stories about when I was losing and reclaiming the Christmas magic. 20 years ago, 20 and a half years ago, my grandfather passed away. And I didn't know at that time that I lost the magic of Christmas, because he was the kind of the center of our holiday celebration. And for years, as I mentioned, I was not aware what happened, and I tried to create some new habits and rituals, but somehow I felt, now I know, and this season I realized that I tried to create new rituals, but I was not enough brave, because I had another generation who I felt that they are responsible for creation. And somehow this season, I realized that, and it was a big and painful aha moment when I realized that my grandfather was the one who hadn't created the spirit of Christmas for the whole family. So this year, when I realized it, I made a decision. I'm reclaiming the magic, but in a way, it feels deeply aligned with who I am right now, not like a little girl. And of course, I'm also treating and nourishing my little girl inside of me. And I've created new rituals, and also respecting the traditions I'm carrying and I inherited from my grandparents. And but on the way that I'm creating some most ordinary moments into an extraordinary ones. And I have started creating a new pleasure rituals, and I have also more surprises for my family and friends for the next week. So I'm sure that, and I believe that they will also like it. And on this journey this month, I had an unexpected magical pleasure experience, and I would like to also share this with you. And if you know me, you know. If you don't know me, I will tell you now that I'm a sunny and summer and warm lover. So it's really good. And then today in Budapest, there are not so sunny. And most of the winter time I spent in some kind of seasides and sunny water and weather. And last Sunday, I absolutely stepped out and way out of my zone, my comfort zone, and you can imagine that under the full moon light, it was so beautiful. And there was in close to Budapest, there was also a little rainbow around the moon. And I went into 4.7 Celsius water, and it was cold, so intense. But what experienced, it's nothing, just a miraculous. And instead of I felt that discomfort, I felt an overwhelming wave of ecstasy and connection deeply with my heart. And then we were also talking about heart before. and my heart felt like it was so opening, and I also experienced a heart orgasm. And that moment, these moments were so pure, and this unexpected pleasure is still with me. Even I can feel it right now. And this reminded me that pleasure is unexpected and unpredictable, and unexpected ways could come, and it's always opening and brings expansion into our body, into our mind, into our emotions. And also it can appear on the most unlikely places, and we need to be curious and open to receive it. And I'm not inviting you to do the same what I've done, and it doesn't need to always require extreme, actions, but sometimes we can find it in the smallest and simplest moments, like drinking a water or your coffee, or smelling some beautiful essential oils, or just with a laughter or softness of a blanket, or touch from yourself as a self-love ritual, or receiving some touch or kind words from others. So this Christmas, I invite you to explore more pleasure in all kinds of forms, and let go the rigid traditions that no longer serve you, and create some space for joy, curiosity, and connection. And it's like it doesn't need to be a grand gesture. It could be some really small things. So I would like to encourage you to approach each day with curiosity and openness, and ask yourself, what would bring me joy today? Whether it's a small thing, or a self-care, as I mentioned, or a bold leap into something new, and embrace it with open heart. So let's make Christmas not just about giving to others, but also receiving the magic of pleasure, joy, and connection to ourselves.
Great. Oh, there we go. Grisha, what a great way to end this. Oh my goodness. You shared this story yesterday as well with us about jumping into that lake. Well done. That is no mean feat. It really takes something. And I'm so glad that you got the pleasure from it. That's amazing.
Yeah. And yesterday when we were talking about, and you said that Christmas feeling, and then oh my gosh, that I really want to share that we need to find pleasure, and then Christmas and this holiday season should be about us opening our heart towards ourselves, and also what Raimonda just shared in the introduction. Just really connecting deeply with ourselves, and unapologetically stepping to and showing and shining our light. And I think this is all about. Yeah. And this is the best timing right now.
Just I'm smelling my beautiful perfumed oil as you're speaking, and just feeling the pleasure of the warmth from the radiator, and I've just washed my dress, so it feels nice, and just wonderful. Merry Christmas to you, Grisha. I love your energy, and you know what I love about you? You really embody the Empress. You embody it so much, and we're just honored to have you on our stage. Where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? Where can we learn more about your beautiful gifts and wisdom?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Grisha Andrea. So easy.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for closing us out today with a bang, with a big O.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So much. Thank you. So we are now at the end of the first part of Unleashing the Power of Women's Voices. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you've really enjoyed it. You know, it doesn't take much to take Raimonda out of the game, but Raimonda is I think she's either on the way to the dentist, or maybe she's even sat in the dentist chair at the moment. But Raimonda had an appointment at the dentist, so she has gone off there. So I'm going to be closing us out today. But I want to remind you that we are going to be returning. We're going to be coming back this evening. Well, this evening's sort of like Europe, UK timing. So it's going to be 7 p.m. UK GMT. And so that is going to make it 2 p.m. EST, Eastern Time. We're going to be coming back for another part of our Unleashing the Power of Women's Voices. And this time we're going to have our wonderful speakers from Canada and America. I think we do have some UK speakers on there as well. But we would love to invite you back to join us. I hope that you've enjoyed our event today. Just wanted to wish you a very merry festive season, whatever it is that you celebrate, whatever it is that you find the joy and the pleasure in, just as 𝐷𝐸 was sharing with us on her talk, whatever it is that you are connecting with and tapping into during this wonderful time over the next couple of weeks. We wish you so much joy and happiness and connection, and we wish you a wonderful new year. And we will be back with our next event in January. But of course, we have our second part of this event, Unleashing the Voices of Women, later on today. So we hope to see you there. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Lots of love, lots of hugs.